Underway here at the Royal Charging Stadium, and wow, what a task it is today for Oxford City. Home to Barnet, flying high in the National League, not quite top as the ball is floated over to the striker and main talisman Nicky Kabamba. In fact, if it wasn't for Marcus Dinanga's early season form, he would be right at the top of the goal scoring charts, but Marcus Dinanga, who's up there at the moment, and Nicky Kabamba hot on his heels. He's already in the thick of the action as Canis Carroll leaps over Kabamba to win the header, and eventually City clear their lines through Andre Burley. Preda will try and get himself on the end of that ball, but couldn't quite latch onto that ball. It's also a home debut as well as a full debut for Marcin Brzozowski. It's a home debut for Claudio Afosu, the latest name that City have signed. Started the game against Wealdstone in a real lively fashion, tailed away when it came up to came through the game really, as it was this met the players just a few hours before that game. He's had a couple of training sessions though now and in the thick of it again. But here's Rafferty Pedder for Oxford City, trying to get forward and launch the first attack in this game. Drops back to Parker, who plays the ball across goal, but it's a little bit sloppy, not from Parker but the defenders that were just waiting for it to reach their feet, and Harry Pritchard, the Barnet midfielder, nips in there and snatches the ball away from the City men, but play breaks down for Barnet now, and Josh Parker has strayed offside slightly from Rafferty Pedder's ball. Bitty start to this first half, it's still 0-0, and Barnet asking some questions already of Oxford City, but City doing the same for Barnet. Very tight in the first 2 minutes of this game. Winter now for Barnet. Brunt, who started the season well for Barnet, spoke to their press officer just before the game, and obviously all the eyes are going to be on Nicky Kabamba, who's been scoring the goals this season. However, for them, their player of the season, according to him anyway, is their number 18, Anthony Hartigan. He's been in fine form. Barnet have made a few changes going into this game today as Hartigan gets the ball out of his feet, and rather curse of the commentator, gives it away. Zach McEachran does the same, and Hartigan will again control the ball, but he's been in fine form for Barnet this season, as has Zach Brunt. And of course the goalkeeper, the man between the sticks, Laurie Walker, familiar face here at Oxford City, had a season back here in 2015, played 41 times for City, keeping 10 clean sheets, but now he's in the thick of Dean Brennan's promotion hunting team, as the ball attempted to play forward for Barnet, but it will bounce off McEachran and go all the way out midway through the Barnet half for a throw into the Bees.
Yeah, a bit of a scrappy opening from both sides. A couple of opportunities for sort of defence splitting passes, but balls being given away. You mentioned Claudio Afosu, Andy. I agree with you. I thought the first 25 minutes or so he looked really lively on Tuesday. And Ross Jenkins made a really good point in the post-match, didn't he? That he'd literally come in that afternoon, hadn't introduced the players before the game, and that first 20-25 minutes he really looked like he had a bit of pace to burn. And yes, he faded off a little bit, but he probably isn't totally match fit, of course, because he hasn't played any football. I'd be really interested to see how he gets on over the coming weeks. He
hasn't, but he will get some game time here, of course, with City's long list of absentees. Sitting in front of us actually is 4 of the squad that aren't playing today. Aaron Williams, Bichelle, Nia Kirby, Joe Wilson all sat in front of me. No, in fact, Aaron's just given me a little wry smile there. I think he's desperate to do commentary, but
I saw him running up and down earlier. He looked like he's getting somewhere near fitness again, I'd say, running up and down the surface here.
Well, fingers crossed Aaron Williams-Bichelle is very close to a return, as City will need him back in the team, as well as Nia Joe and Phil Croker, the youngster who was on the bench for Tuesday night's defeat at Wealdstone. Meanwhile, the ball spins away from Latrell Humphrey-Ewers, and it's picked up by the Barnet midfielder Marvin Armstrong, who wins a free kick, and it's greeted by a large cheer of appeals from behind the goal, which is looking rather orange this afternoon. Very, very good support from the Barnet fans that have made the relatively short trip from North London, not too far away, and they've come in their numbers. Around about 400 to 500 have expected to have made the journey, and they may have something to cheer within the first 5 minutes if they can work this free kick to their advantage. Nicky Kabamba is standing in an offside position, just making sure he knows where the City players are. They stay on the edge of the box, on the line. Chance to float across into the box then, and does. Right-footed into Kabamba, headed over the crossbar, hits the roof of the net. Marcin Brzozowski looked confident that that was going over the crossbar, and he let it do exactly that. But the first half chance of the game falls to Barnet and falls to the man that everyone will be looking at for a goal or two today, Nicky Kabamba.
Yeah, 11 goals already this season for Kabamba, and you can see there from that first foray, if you like, into the penalty area, he's going to be the big target man for Barnet moving forward in this game, and just got the back of his head to that, really, like a glancing header. It did float over the bar, and I think 6'5" as he is, Marcin Brzozowski had that one covered.
He did, but likewise. Oh, and has that ball gone out? I don't think it has. There was a little bit of a question asked of the linesman, who was very certain it didn't go out. Laurie Walker crashed into his post but managed to keep the ball in play according to the linesman. So here come Barnet again through Kabamba. Works the ball out to Winter. Over to Senior on the right hand side. Works the ball back into Winter. Floated cross towards the back post, and it's met by two Barnet heads. And in fact, Harry Pritchard heads the ball down onto Callum Stead, and it eventually bounces out for a City goal kick. Barnet starting to find their feet in this one as Marcin Brzozowski's closed down by Kabamba, but he remains composed to find Burley, but that ball bounces off Burley's foot and out for a Barnet throw in, which is taken quickly. Stead shot towards goal, and that's Marcin Brzozowski's first save for the club and of this game. Parries it away to his right, and as Andre Burley runs onto the rebound, he's taken down by Stead, and it's a free kick deep into the Oxford City half, which Brzozowski will most likely get as far down the pitch as he can. I am just looking at this Barnet lineup here, Kieran. They're keeping a very high line as Brzozowski tries to find Josh Parker. Akimo goes up with Parker, but here's Afosu. First chance to get down the right wing for himself, but he's marshalled by three Barnet players, and eventually the ball bounces back to Mitchell Roberts. Rafferty Pedder again trying to work himself away from two Barnet players, but Akimo judged to have tugged the shirt there, so it's a free kick just inside the Barnet area for City, as this game is still finding its feet. Carroll doesn't have many options ahead of him, but finds McEachran, and as soon as City receive the ball, there's about three orange shirts just bearing down on them. They're pressing really well so far in this game. The away team coming forward again. Here's Senior on the right wing, goes toe-to-toe with Roberts, plays the ball towards the right to Marvin Armstrong, crosses towards goal, but hits Humphrey Ewers and bounces out for the first corner of the game. 9 minutes it's taken, right in front of the travelling Bees supporters. Zach Brunt is going over to take it. Kabamba's got a bit of height about him in this Barnet team. He'll certainly be jostling inside the 6-yard box alongside Harry Pritchard to try and put Marcin Brzozowski and Canis Carroll off. There's a referee will have to keep an eye on that. Brunt, left-footed in-swinger into the box, met by the head of Stead. He flicked on the header, it hit a hoop shirt and goes out on the other side for another corner. City still have their backs against the wall. Hartigan will go over to take this opposite number. They're going to send some in-swinging corners into the box, it seems, instead of using the same taker. So it's another in-swinger, you'd like to think. Hand in the air from Hartigan, right-footed cross into the box, and it's deep, and it's flicked over the bar by Marcin Brzozowski. I think he tried to catch that, but in the end didn't feel confident with doing that, so felt it was better to be safe than sorry and tipped it over the bar. Third consecutive corner for the Bees. Again on that same size as the last one. Hartigan to take it, hand in the air again. Another deep cross floated in, it beats everyone. Flapped at by Brzozowski, still not cleared, and eventually the cross from Zach Brunt goes out for a City goal kick. But Marcin Brzozowski's first 10 minutes in an Oxford City shirt has been a pretty solid effort.
Solid, he's got his hands to the ball when he's needed to. He's looked to It looked like he sort of wants to control that 6-yard box, and City on the attack now, perhaps with an opportunity to test the Barnet goalkeeper.
They are indeed, and Tafari Moore will cut inside to find McEachran, who has no option but to get the ball out of his feet first time, and eventually the ball bounces back to him, and unfortunately it hits his hand for a free kick to Barnet, which is taken quickly. This game is starting to liven up a little bit more. 10 minutes gone. Oxford City 0, Barnet 0. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford on BBC Sounds, on the BBC website, non-long commentaries page. The ball is nicked off the Barnet man by Rennie Smith. Pedder finds Smith again, has Afosu making a blistering run ahead of him. Afosu wiggles into the box and sends a shot towards goal. And that's the first save Laurie Walker's had to make. And the first we've seen of Claudio Afosu in an Oxford City shirt. Going forward, good shot from Afosu, difficult angle. Walker would have been expected to make that save, but he parried it behind, and now Oxford City have their first corner of the game. It's going to be Rafferty Pedder, right-footed, out-swinging corner, which bounces, beats everyone, and Roberts flicked the ball into the 6-yard box. It was eventually cleared, but if he just left that, Latrell Humphrey-Ewers was there waiting to strike towards goal. Perhaps he could have left that, Roberts, for Humphrey-Ewers to have a strike. Nevertheless, this game is starting to come alive, and City are starting to find their feet now. Again, Afosu will dart down the right-hand side, uses his pace to beat his man. Doesn't have any options on. He's stood up by Kabamba, but he beats Kabamba, all ends up. Afosu across goal, and the flicked effort from Josh Parker. Just tried to volley it with a Rabona inside the 6-yard box, but it was well saved by Laurie Walker. But just like on Tuesday night, Claudio Afosu has started this game in really good fashion for Oxford City, and they came close there. Yeah,
really impressive there from Afosu. Shows really good skills. The head-banded Claudio Afosu this afternoon. That's two really good opportunities that he's managed to eke out in these opening exchanges. Really encouraging signs.
Very much so. And Kabamba, he's not a defender, is he? But he was beating all ends up there. Good tracking back from Nicky Kabamba, though. When Barnet defend, they defend in numbers. But Afosu used his skill, but there's a chance here, and it's a chance for Armstrong. He bears down on goal, and that's brilliant defending this time from Latrell Humphrey-Ewers. In fact, Armstrong had the shot towards Brzozowski's goal. He was 1-on-1 until Latrell Humphrey-Ewers got in front of him.
He really had to time that to perfection, didn't he? Because if he got that wrong, then that would have been a penalty. But he perfectly timed tackle, and out for a fourth corner for Barnet.
They are getting a lot of luck from their corners, as it's taken short this time. Senior cross into the box, and it flashes across the face of goal, still not cleared. Away from Burley on the edge of the box. Can someone have a swipe at goal here for Barnet? Still drops to Senior, edge of the box, shot towards goal, and it deflects ever so slightly off Harry Pritchard, but the deflection doesn't have any power on it, and eventually bounces into the grateful grasp of Marcin Brzozowski.
How's your luck, Marcin Brzozowski? That deflection was perfect for him. How often have we seen deflections go completely against City this year? But that just rolled nicely into his hands and allowed him to just clutch the ball and just clear that little bit of danger. So a bit of good fortune there, but it remains goalless.
Is indeed, but now here comes City again, but Afosu just doesn't have the turn of pace to beat Pritchard there. It's been started slowly the first 5 minutes of this game, but since it's really come into its own, it's a little bit of a nervy atmosphere here as those Barnet fans start spreading into the end behind the goal. Opened up a little bit more room for them as Marcin Brzozowski sends a long effort towards goal. Parker chests it down, but Hartigan has the ball again, coming forward from Armstrong. It's a chance here now for Callum Stead, and eventually Canis Carroll clears his line. City living life on the edge here. Here's McEachran, comes out from defence, and Josh Parker is fouled, and to be fair, it was definitely a foul. The referee Farai Hallam has got that exactly right, but more importantly, it's a chance for Oxford City just to take the time over this.
Absolutely. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sport on the BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. If you're looking for the Oxford United game, Oxford United versus Wycombe Wanderers, that's on 95.2 on digital and on Preview channel 722. That remains goalless as well. 9 minutes gone in that one. Goalless here.
Yes, indeed. Oxford United, another team that are flying high in their division in Sky Bet League One. Barnet doing the same in the National League. Really entertaining start to this one, and now that the away fans have been able to spread into that end behind the goal, there is a real inkling to see how many fans have made the journey here. Pritchard working it well here, the Bees. They're taking their time with it and they'll come forward. They defend in numbers and they attack in numbers too. No one's in their own area at the moment. Here's Senior, dribbles past Pedder, opens up the angle for a shot and drags a left-footed shot from the edge of the box wide of Marcin Brzozowski's goal. Wasn't on target. I think Brzozowski again was happy to leave it, but that's a sign that the Bees are coming closer in this one.
A couple of scores that Oxford City fans will be interested in. Maidenhead have taken the lead at home to Eastleigh. Maidenhead 1, Eastleigh 0. Here's a bit of a shock. Gateshead 0, AFC Fylde 2 after just 10 minutes. So two score lines there not going Oxford City's way in these early stages.
Well, here come Barnet again, down the left this time. Stead needs to pick a head up and it's a good cross into the box. Kabamba was there, ready and waiting. He'd even flung himself towards goal to try and head that in on the line, but Mitchell Roberts, that was outstanding defending from the City fullback to get in front of Kabamba and just get a toe to hook the ball away and to safety. Oh well, not to safety, another corner to Barnet, but Barnet are getting much closer to the first goal in this game. Chance again for Brunt to send across into the box. It's low this time. Pritchard at the front post helps it across goal. It just needed a tap on the line for Barnet to go ahead in this game, but instead flashes past everyone inside the 6-yard box and bounces away, and City clear their lines again. Barnet, said it a few times in the last few minutes, they are definitely coming closer. But City defending well at the moment. It may be last ditch, but they are getting the ball away when it matters most. Humphrey, who is stopping Marvin Armstrong from shooting at goal with a great block, and then Mitchell Roberts doing the exact same to nip in ahead of Nicky Kabamba and clear his lines. But as we approach the 18-minute mark of this game, it's still Oxford City 0, Barnet 0. High-flying Barnet, of course, that will be going toe-to-toe with Chesterfield in the title race. And in the Oxford City dugout, manager Ross Jenkins, who actually used to play for the Bees, had a brief loan spell back then under the manager who was then Edgar Davids, when he had a brief spell as manager at what was then Underhill, now the Hive. And Barnet attacking that end of orange as it seems. Here's Winter, cross into the box again. It's a good cross and it's flashed towards goal, and again Stead can't get his angles right, and his left-footed volley bounces past the post, and again City's get let off the hook really. Marcin Brzozowski again not tested, but they're coming close.
You start to get the impression, will Oxford City have an opportunity to make Barnet pay for all these missed opportunities, because it really has. In the last 5 minutes, it's been all Barnet, but the goals remain level, 0-0. Brzozowski with the goal kick, and Oxford City really riding their luck, and there's a fantastic away support now. They really have, Andy, as you said, spread out, and they're making a lot of noise, probably 200 or 300 at least, I would say. Really impressive. I know it's not a huge distance from Barnet, but a really good crowd away to our right.
Indeed, no matter what, any fan that travels away in non-league should be applauded. And Barnet, perhaps, I think it's fair to say, aren't necessarily one of these non-league teams. They're very familiar with them being in the EFL and perhaps should be there. It's been a sticky few years for the Bees, but they look like under manager Dean Brennan they are on their way back on the pitch and off the pitch too. The Hive is a really great facility which is used by the whole community in North London, and very much like Oxford City, who almost play second fiddle to Oxford United, Barnet have a quite a difficult job to compete with Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur in North London, but they are very much well supported. And in this game, we're seeing that as we reach the 20-minute mark. Oxford City 0, Barnet 0. Barnet with pretty much all the chances in this game, coming close, but City have come close themselves through Claudio Afosu and Josh Parker, but twice former City goalkeeper Laurie Walker made 2 saves to deny City an opener in this game, and the ball played all the way back to Brzozowski, whose pass catches out Kabamba and Stead, and City starting to get the ball on the ground and play through the bees at the moment. Here's Afosu on the right side where City's attacking threats come down. It's a good cross from Afosu, perhaps took a nick off a Barnet shirt there and eventually didn't trouble Laurie Walker, and the cross landed into his hands, and again Barnet will come forward through Brunt now, cross into the centre of the pitch. Canis Carroll heads it in front of him but can't find a hoop shirt. Now Kabamba on the edge of the area, tries to find the angle for a shot but plays it back over to the right with Senior. Back to Winter now, being made to work back Barnet, but not for long. They've got options in the box if Senior can cut in on the right and find one. Finds Brunt just on the edge of the D, works the ball onto his right foot, sends a shot towards goal, and again it's close but it's wide, and Brzozowski again doesn't have a save to make, but City fans with their hearts in their mouths at the moment.
Yeah, I think Brzozowski was letting that one go. It was curling away from the left-hand post, but yeah, another shot across the bow for the visitors here, and you can see actually why they're so high in the table, why they're in second place, because they have looked really dangerous and they've created a number of chances already, 5 corners, and you just get the feeling it's only going to be a matter of time before one of these efforts is going to be on target and really test Brzozowski out.
You would think so, and although City have a lot of players unavailable today for injury, Barnet have also rung the changes. Go to show that Dean Brennan has a very strong squad to select from, because they've started the better of the 2 teams here, and City have found it difficult to find a foothold in this game, but perhaps they could attack now through Rafferty Pedder, who goes head to head with Courtney Senior, and it's a brilliant tracking back from the Barnet man. But here come City on the counter-attack, and Josh Parker is onside here, and he's one-on-one with Laurie Walker, and that's a good chance for City, which again, great working back from, I think, Jerome Akimo to catch Josh Parker out, and he was one-on-one, but Akimo ran back to get in front of Josh Parker, and eventually when Parker cut onto his right foot, the angle was closed down and he could only fire a shot straight at Laurie Walker. And in a game where City's chances have been few and far between, perhaps we would have been hoping for a lot better than that. However, Barnet perhaps need to be wary of that City counter-attack. Here's Brunt now as Barnet continue to try and find an opener in this game. Ball worked all the way back, rolls across the halfway line to Hartigan, who spreads the ball over to the right hand side. Here's Brunt again. Senior, first time cross with his right foot, goes all the way over to the back post with Pritchard, sends another cross which is blocked, keeps the ball, again cross into the box over the head of Rafferty Pedder, but in fact Pedder gets a flicked effort on that and it rolls all the way out to the other side to go out for a Barnet throw. It really is relentless pressure that Dean Brennan's side are enforcing on City. Winter now finds Hartigan, cross into the box again, and that's a good cross again, eventually cleared by Canis Carroll, and Afosu will bring the ball out of play for City. Now Rennie Smith back towards goal, turns well. City, brilliant ball over to Tafari Moore, another counter-attacking opportunity down the left-hand side now. Moore just about keeps the ball in play, cuts onto his right, has Josh Parker to his left, uses Parker, and he'll just slow the game down here. Doesn't want to give the ball away cheaply. Pedder back to Parker, who's drifted all the way over to the left-hand side. Roberts now, Barnet wants an offside flag, into Pedder just inside the box. Can he have a shot towards goal? And he does, but it's high and wide and floats past Laurie Walker's post, and that was a good opportunity for City, who have shown that they can be a pain on the counter-attack, but as we reach the halfway point of this first half, it's still Oxford City 0, Barnet 0. A really entertaining goal.
Catch your breath, Andy. Catch your breath there. So you're listening to BBC Radio Oxford on BBC Sounds. Oxford City 0, Barnet 0. If you're looking for the Oxford United game, you retune to 95.2 FM on Freeview channel 722 or on digital. That is also currently goalless. Oxford United 0, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Here at the Raw Charging Stadium, it's goalless, but Barnet have held much the upper hand, but City have had a couple of shots across the bow. Josh Parker a few moments ago, an effort which was saved by the ex-City keeper Laurie Walker, and Barnet in the ascendancy but still level as City now get a chance to attack for themselves. Lateral Humphrey is in the centre circle, picks a pass out to the left hand side to Tafari Moore. Moore has got Courtney Senior for company, and he wins a throw off Courtney Senior, taken quickly to Pedder, who was impressive in midweek against Wealdstone, just rolls the ball back to Roberts, back into Latrell Humphrey and City going backwards to go forwards at the moment. The returning Canis Carroll out to the right side to Burley back to Carroll, a little 1-2. Carroll looks to bring the ball over the halfway line, picks a pass out towards Tafari Moore, but overhit there, and is going to go out of play for a Barnet throw. We are 26 minutes into this one. Oxford City 0, Barnet 0.
Really good game, but you are really seeing again that it's the full-timers against the part-timers. Barnet look not just technically gifted, but they look athletic, they look quick, they look strong. They're really bringing the game to City, but City do look dangerous on the counter-attack. They sort of carving out half chances really, but they are having those opportunities where Barnet push a lot of men forward from the back, and on the counter, if they move it quick enough, they sometimes are left with a one-on-one, 2-on-2 scenario. They're managing it well at the moment though. They are.
Pedder just penalised there for a foul on Winter, just in front of us in our commentary position. A bit of a late one from Rafferty Pedder, free kicks taken, and Barnet just looking to build again. They're in the centre circle, out to the right side to Winter. Winter will advance over the halfway line, picks a pass to Zach Brunt. Brunt into the penalty area looking for that man, and it's a goal. It's a goal to Barnet. The ball into the penalty area, and it's Callum Stead, the former Brackley man, who's put Barnet in front. And you have to say it was coming, Andy, but pretty poor defending. The ball was floated in, it went over the head of the leading goal scorer Nicky Kabamba, but Callum Stead slotting home past Marcin Brzozowski, and once again City find themselves behind. Oxford City 0, Barnet 1.
Yeah, it's probably been coming. A lot of long balls floated in the box for Barnet, which has been going over the heads of the City players, and as it's just before in the game, just perhaps missed the last orange shirt and crawled away from goal. That one didn't, and despite Marcin Brzozowski coming off his line and making himself big and doing everything right technically, couldn't do anything about that. Just flickers underneath the City goalkeeper, and it's a deserved lead for the Bees.
It is a deserved lead. Callum Stead fluffed his lines a moment ago and missed a good opportunity, but made no mistake there. And once again, then City have to come from a goal down. Josh Parker winning an aerial challenge there with Jerome Akumo, but it's gone back to the goalkeeper, and who immediately rolls the ball out to Finley Potter on that left flank. Barnet fans now away to our right in really good voice as the ball is played back again to Laurie Wood. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sounds on the BBC Sports website and app. Oxford City 0, Barnet 1 in the National League. If you're looking for Oxford United versus Wycombe, 95.2, Freeview channel 722 or on digital. It's a free kick to Oxford City, and
yeah, City need to be careful here, because Barnet could run away with this one in the first half if they start being a little bit more streetwise, if you like, in the final third. They've got forward well, they've had shots that haven't really been on target, but they've got a really good chance here in the first half of basically killing the game, so you have to defend well to stop them.
Oxford United have taken the lead against Wycombe. Rodriguez with the first goal. Oxford 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0 at the Kassam Stadium. Here at the Raw Charging Stadium, it's Oxford City 0, Barnet 1 in the National League North. Barnet, Brackley and South Shields are level 0-0. Southport 0, Banbury United 0. City need to find their way back into this game, and at the moment they have some defending to do again, because Nicky Kabamba's picked out Courtney Senior on the right hand side. He's got Tafari Moore just shepherding him into the penalty area. Good cross into the penalty area over the heads of everybody. Ofoso back there defending, and Barnet still in possession. Ofoso again backtracking to try and get the ball, but still with Barnet on this right hand side with Senior. Senior looking to get the ball into Kabamba, out to Zach Brunt, and Barnet's still in possession with Marvin Armstrong now. Gets another ball across the face of goal, and that was nearly 2-0. It's gone wide, but
how many of them have just flicked wide? How many of them have just gone over the crossbar? They are, to be fair, Barnet, you couldn't complain if they were perhaps 2 or 3 up.
Absolutely.
They have had a lot of chances, but again, difficult one for the attacker to send towards goal and try and get on target. But they have had a lot of those chances today, and perhaps Dean Brennan, if he is to criticise his team for one thing, it's that they're not 2 or 3 up.
Yeah, they really could and probably should have been 2 or 3 up, to be honest. But it is only 1-0. We've just ticked over the half-hour mark. Rozowski with the goal kick, looking for Parker. Parker's pulled back a little bit by Akimo, but referee says nothing doing, and Barnet back in possession again with Armstrong. Lays the ball back, and then the ball goes over the halfway line, but Tafari Moore will pick this loose ball up, and he brings the ball over the halfway line. Then a bit of a cynical foul there from Ben Winter, and that's going to be the first yellow card. It was a needless foul right on the halfway line, but had he not made that foul, I guess Tafari Moore could have been away, but you would say that was a bit of a cynical one there, and a deserved yellow card for
I think
Ben Winter.
Yeah, I was going to say, he nicked ahead of him. He was always going to get there first, Tafari Moore, and I think Winter had to bring him down. I think for Barnet that'll be a good foul to take. Perhaps wouldn't have I've lost my words.
You've lost my words.
Yeah,
that's very unlike you.
Yeah, I was going to say, perhaps he would have got there towards the ball and wouldn't have led to anything.
Yeah.
Would have gone into the next two Barnet defenders. However, he just had to make that challenge, I think, because the way Tafari Moore was powering through there, he would have probably backed him to get through the other 2. Really
good challenge there by Zach Brunt on Latrell Humphrey Ewers, and Barnet on the attack again. They're into the penalty area with Marvin Armstrong. Now it's with Kabamba. Kabamba out to Callum Stead. A really good goal from Callum Stead. From probably 12 yards out, he's hit that one into the top corner past Marcin Brzozowski, and within an instant, Barnet lead 2-0. The former Brackley man, Callum Stead, with 2 goals. And it's a long, long way back for City now. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2.
Yeah, I think Brzozowski just got a fingertip to it, but couldn't keep that out. And it was just, again, another scenario where it was 2-on-2, 3-on-3. And that's what these teams at the top of the table, the full-time teams, can do to you, and they'll punish you.
That goal was made by Marvin Armstrong, showing real battle in the midfield there, taking the ball off of Latrell Humphrey Ewers, and then the ball into Callum Stead was pinpoint, and Stead finished really nicely. I think Brzozowski got a fingertip to it, Andy, but it was really just a tip to push it into the top corner. And you said a couple of moments ago they deserve to be 2 or 3 up. Well, they are 2 up now, and I really can't see already a way back for City, the way Barnet are playing with confidence at the moment.
No, I think then they're failing to deal with the crosses, as McEachran will come forward here.
So McEachran has a chance perhaps to have a shot at goal, and it's deflected off of Jerome Akimo, and it's gone out for a corner to City. And they really do need to get a goal back before the end of this first half, because it really has been almost relentless Barnet pressure, and they lead 2-0.
Yeah, but when City have got forward, to be fair to them, they have always looked to test Walker at least. He has been tested, but those chances have been few and far between, and not as well as they would have liked to have been worked.
Corner then in towards Canis Carroll, and Canis Carroll is penalised for a foul inside the penalty area, and it's a free kick to the home side, just inside the penalty area. Chesterfield are level at Kidderminster, so for Barnet, this lead will, if the scores stay the same, we'll see them cut the gap even further at the top to around a point, albeit they played a game more. But Barnet are certainly showing why they're right up there, and they are looking dangerous on the break as well. And the ball over the top looking for Armstrong. But this time City get themselves back, and Armstrong brings down Rafferty Pedder just inside the Oxford City half of the field, and it's a free kick now for Oxford City, and a chance just to catch their breath.
No, it was Brunt, I think, who brought Pedder down actually, but again, another one that he probably had to do. They're good at that, Barnet. They've been City. They're coming forward and looking dangerous on the counter. So how can they stop the counter? Do those little fouls to stop them going forward for him quickly. They've learnt their lesson, and that is what is really impressive about Barnet. They've been ruthless. I know they probably should be probably 4 or 5 up, really. Let's be honest, but they have been ruthless in terms of the defending as well, and they are really sticking the knife in City at the moment. They need to perhaps City need to step it up a couple of gears, because they are not matching Barnet anywhere on the pitch at the moment. Perhaps the only place where they've been having any luck is down the right with Claudio Afosu on the right wing.
Barnet are going to be getting numbers forward again now as Senior bursts over the halfway line. Tafari Moore just shepherding him a little bit, but Senior looking for options. He's got Winter behind him, and he finds Winter. Winter in turn lays the ball back to Anthony Hartigan. Ball almost in there towards Nicky Kabamba, but this time cut out well, and now Josh Parker is pulled all over the place, and he's been awarded a free kick, and it's midway inside the Oxford City half of the field. They take it quickly. McEachran out to the right hand side to Burley to Afosu. Afosu needs to get his shooting boots on here. He races down the right hand side and
wins a corner.
He wins a corner. Really good work again. Afosu's probably been the brightest player on show for City so far in this first half.
At the moment he's the only outlet, that's why. It's Parker who holds the ball up well, and Afosu down the right. That's where the attacks have been coming from, but Barnet have been dealing with them so far.
It'll be Rafferty Pedder with this corner. Got Burley in there, Canis Carroll of course. Mitchell Roberts at the back post. It's going to go towards Carroll. Carroll goes down in a heap, but the referee says nothing, and he's now said there's a head injury.
I do think he was caught there.
I think he was caught as well. I think he was pulled down.
I don't think it was a penalty, don't get me wrong. I just think he was caught accidentally. And I think Carroll's had a prior problem. He had to wear that mask against Scarborough for both games. So I think perhaps the little whack would probably have hurt a little bit more than it would do in usual circumstances, which is why he's gone down in pain. I think the referee's got it spot on there. No penalty, no card, no nothing for the Barnet defender. Absolutely every right to go for it, but had to stop the game because ultimately it was a head injury. Yeah,
he's back up though, and got some defending to do now, and he's got himself back pretty quickly, Carroll. And with the 2-goal man Callum Stead on the left side. Ball into the penalty area again, and it's still not cleared, and now it's going to go out of play over the opposite side, and it's come off a Barnet man, and it's a throw into Oxford City with 7 minutes to go in this first half. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2. Oxford United leading Wycombe Wanderers by 1-0 at the Castad.
You know what I was just going to say before? I think there's 7 minutes to go, probably perhaps 10 with a bit of additional time. City need to get in behind at 2-0 down, because if it's 3-0 it's game over, but perhaps you harbour slight ambitions at 2-0 of just getting an early goal back in the second half, and then having a go in the second half to get an equaliser. 3-0 and it's curtains.
Brzozowski then came out of his goal and had a bit of good fortune. The ball bounced kindly and City managed to clear, but he was well out of his goal. But City really haven't created an awful lot so far. One real chance, Josh Parker, who shot fairly tamely at Laurie Walker in the goal. You're quite right, Andy. If they can get in at 2-0, then that's something. You never want to say 2-0 down at half time, but
you definitely know how the game's going when you're saying Oxford City need to get in into half time at 2-0 down. It just shows you how the game's played out so far.
I mean, the performance from Barnet so far is almost, to me, matching the Gateshead performance. Actually, they're really quick. They're passing the ball well. They're quick on the counter when they need to be, although there hasn't been an awful lot of counter-attacking. It's been relentless Barnet pressure, but they're passing the ball around beautifully. And
yeah, the relentless nature of the performance is definitely on par with that Gateshead team. However, Gateshead, they perhaps played a little bit more football in terms of, not like Barnet hoofing it, but Barnet are ruthless. They get it up the wing, they're trying to get crosses in and hurt City straight away, which they're doing, whereas Gateshead were almost playing the tiki-taka football sort of thing. Two different styles, but both very effective. And again, I think it's 2-0 to Barnet is absolutely no injustice at all, and if it's an injustice to anyone, it is to Barnet that they're not 3 or 4-0 up.
In National League North, Brackley Town have taken the lead against South Shields. Brackley 1, South Shields 0. Banbury United still level 0-0 away to Southport, as Oxford City here in the National League looking to try and get some foothold in the game, but it's Barnet in possession. I'd be really interested to see the possession stats for this first half. It's at least 60-40, possibly a bit more than that, but Barnet just playing it around the back at the moment. It's with Anthony Hartigan, and Hartigan over the halfway line to Winter. Winter tries to find Senior on the right side, but cut out by Tafari Moore, but throw into the visitors. Winter. Pedder tries to put him off his stride and does quite well there actually. Pedder just forces an error from Winter and giving the ball away, and now Josh Parker's got the ball inside the Barnet half, but he's being forced back by Winter, and he's had to go all the way back to Mitchell Roberts, and then Roberts looks for McEachran, a neat first time ball to Parker, back to Mitchell Roberts again, and City just slowing the game down a little bit at the moment, which is probably fairly good tactic. And ball out of play off of Senior for a throw in for City right on the halfway line. You probably heard the clatter of the ball against the fencing right in front of us in our commentary position. Roberts with the throw in, finds McEachran plays a crossfield ball to Canis Carroll on the right hand side. Carroll chips the ball over looking for Afosu tries to control it, but first time really that Afosu's miscontrolled it, and it's allowed Barnet to regain possession again, and it's back with Laurie Walker looking for Senior. That Tafari Moore wins the head in the air, and that's going to go out of play for another Barnet throw, but deep inside their own half now, and the throw goes back to former City man Laurie Walker in the Barnet goal. And Barnet will be pretty happy, I think, just to play this out themselves to half-time. It's one of those things, isn't it, where maybe both sides will be fairly happy to hear half-time. Barnet because they can go in and regroup and go again, and Oxford City just to see if they can do anything better in the second half, because at the moment they're very much second best in this one. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2.
Yeah, I don't think there can be any complaints. I keep saying it. The only thing I would reiterate right now is don't concede another. And it's I would have to say it's one team that look like they're going to get the next one, and it is Barnet. I think Ross Jenkins will just be desperate to just get in that dressing room and just tell him to just calm down and just liven up a bit. I think City are a little bit shell shocked. Yeah. I don't think they really thought that it would be this full on, but Barnet, as I say again, they've been ruthless. They've been getting the ball forward quickly. They've been floating crosses into the box that have come here, there and everywhere and come close to scoring. They could have had a load, but the 2 goals that they have scored, probably 2 of the chances that were more difficult to put away, if we're honest, but they've not really responded since that early chance from Claudio Afosu.
No, they haven't. Callum Stead's second goal, I think, was a decent strike, although Brzozowski got a fingertip to it. It was always arrowing into the top corner, and Barnet will be going in at half-time very, very happy, and the mass ranks of Barnet supporters away to our right-hand side will be pretty pleased what they've seen, as a free kick's conceded against Oxford City and just inside the City half of the field, and perhaps one last chance for Barnet to get the big men into the box as we head into the final minute of the first 45. But as Andy Gate alluded to, there probably be a couple of minutes of stoppage time as well. We've had the yellow card and a bit of a knock to Canis Carroll, but it is with Senior. Senior gets the ball across the face of goal. Brzozowski flaps at it, but it's gone over to the far side, and Afosu wins a throw-in. Afosu's looked pretty decent again so far in this one, defending back there and winning a throw-in just, I'd say, level with the edge of the Barnet penalty area. Burley with the ball.
Yeah, Barnet have made it difficult for every City player out there. There's been no room. I said, I think, earlier on in the game, just as it kicked off, as soon as City got the ball, there was a number of shirts around them.
Now there's another chance here for Barnet to make it 3. Good save from Brzozowski with his feet as Barnet burst into the penalty area again, and Brzozowski this time quick from his line and blocking with his feet. And when City tried to clear the ball though, McEachran was closed down by 3 Barnet men, and they win the ball back again, and it's now out with Ben Winter. Winter gets a crack in from distance, it's deflected, and Brzozowski had to save that one down to his left-hand side, deflected effort, and that was arrowing into the bottom corner. Yeah. And a good save from Marcin Brzozowski. Yeah, 2 minutes added, but talk about being thrown at the deep end. Marcin Brzozowski, how many saves has he made so far? He's made a fair few, and those were the 2 best ones so far, but this could be curtains if they do score from this corner. Needs to stand up to the challenge again, Marcin Brzozowski. Absolutely, that was a save that needs to be made, and the ball comes into penalty area, it's flicked all the way across, and will Barnet keep it in? It looks like they will. Flicked off the head of Nicky Kabamba, and Barnet keep the ball in play. Just looking to see if they can get a third before half-time, and City will be desperate to keep this out. 1 minute to go in stoppage time. That, though, is probably the worst shot we've seen today from Senior, and it's gone high, wide and not so handsome over the stand and out of the ground, and City can breathe again.
Yeah, I think they can, but they won't be happy. Barnet, it's been too easy for them. I think there's that phrase, isn't there? It's been like a training game. It's like, right, get the ball, recycle it, get forward, attack, like you do in training. And I think that's a fair assessment. It really has been. Probably haven't had their shooting boots on as much as they would like.
Now, can City get a chance here? Josh Parker with a shot from 20 yards. McEachran chested it down to Parker, and Parker on the volley from 20 odd yards, well, half volley really, but he's hit it over the bar, and it wasn't going to cause Laurie Walker any trouble, and that will probably be the last notable action of the first half as the clock ticks around to 47 minutes. And Ross Jenkins will be very keen to get his men in at half-time and try and get them to regroup and try and see if they can have a second half performance. But is there one more chance here for City? Rafferty Pedder gets himself onto the right foot just outside the box, but he's hit the ball straight at Walker, and that is the final action of this first half as referee Barry Hallam blows his whistle. And it's been a really tough first half here for Oxford City. Andy, they trail by 2-0, and we'll hand back to Jerome. We'll hand back to Jerome in just a moment. Andy, very quickly, just a quick summary of that first half. It's really been all Oxford's, all Barnet in that first half, and Oxford have got a lot to do in the second half.
All Barnet is probably the 2 words that you want to describe the game as. It's been too easy for them. It's been like a training game. They've been shown that they're full time. They've shown that they've been better. It's shown why they're chasing Chesterfield for the title. It's been ruthless. I've been really impressed by them, but City haven't been able to. Really, when it comes down to it, it comes down to not being able to deal with the crosses. There's been a lot of crosses into the box, which they've not been able to deal with, which has resulted in Barnet coming close on a number of occasions. But City, when they do counter, they do look like they can get a half chance away. They have tested Walker, in all fairness, but it is all Barnet, only one team in it at the moment, and they're very, very well worth their lead.
They really are. We'll head over back to Jerome Sale at the Kassam Stadium shortly, but Oxford City have it all to do in the second half yet again. The amount of times this season they've been trailing by a couple of goals at the break. They have come back in games in recent weeks, but not in the last couple, and if they want to come back into this one, they really need to hope that Barnet implode, I have to say, because Barnet were looking very, very impressive in this first half. 2 goals from Callum Stead, the ex-Brackley man, and really the only chance for Oxford City of note was Josh Parker when he received a ball over the top from the Latrell Humphrey Ewers, but he shot tamely at Walker, Laurie Walker, in the Barnet goal, and Oxford City trail this one by 2-0 at the break. Elsewhere in the National League North, Banbury United still level 0-0 with Southport, and Brackley Town leading South Shields by 1-0 in the other National League North game of local interest. In the National League Premier, Borehamwood trail Southend by a goal to nil. Dorking 1, Aldershot 0. Ebbsfleet and Dagenham level at 0-0. Gateshead 0, AFC Fylde 2. That's bad news for City. Hartlepool 0, Rochdale 3 going into stoppage time. Kidderminster 1, Chesterfield 1. Maidenhead leading Eastleigh by 2 goals to nil. More bad news there for Oxford City. Altrincham leading Oldham Athletic by 2 goals to 1. Solihull Moors 0, Wealdstone 0 and Woking 0. Bromley 0. The evening game this evening is York City, another side down there with Oxford City. They're at home to Halifax Town, and another game I guess that City will be keeping an eye on later on, because in this one there's just no real sign really, Andy, of Oxford City getting back into this one at the moment.
No, not at the moment. I'm just looking there. I was pausing and just looking through the tweets from Barnet and seeing what their fans were saying about the game. And there was a few comments where it's like, 1, what a performance from Callum Stead. 2, it should be 5-0. And I can't disagree. It really should be 5-0. But you just harbour that hope that 2-0 down for Oxford City, that they do get a goal. They're backing it.
Okay, that's it then. 2-0 to Barnet. We're going to head back over to Jerome at the Castad.
Finn Stevens involved in a lengthy attack from Oxford, and I think what we would say, Nick Harris, is that United deserved to be in front, and the narrow margin probably also fitting.
In front wasn't the best start for United. Wickham really closing everything down. United almost getting caught. McGuane getting caught in possession, and Beadle making a very good save from Taylor in just the 3rd minute of the game. United playing with that back 3, and you've got to say struggling a little bit, certainly in the midfield area in those early stages. The only real attacks coming when they try to knock the ball over the top to Harris, but then suddenly it's so Oxford United, they produce a glorious goal down that right side. Finn Stevens involved, playing a 1-2 with McGuane. McGuane breaks to the byline. Harris makes a run to the near post. The ball played beyond him to Rodriguez, and a glorious shot. And Oxford 1-0 up. And let's be honest then, the only disappointment I think they'll have that it is only 1-0, because they really pushed hard then for that second goal. Billy Bowden just 4 minutes later, a header just wide at the near post after great play down the left side this time by Rodriguez. And then that very controversial moment, referee Stockbridge stopping the play. Harris was clean through on the edge of the penalty area. He stopped the play and gave the free kick to Oxford United. But then you just think, because Harris then, just 4 minutes later, clean through down the right side of the penalty area. He really should have scored. Somehow the goalkeeper got something on it, and the ball went round the post. But yeah, definitely got rid of the hangover from Wigan. As I say, United will just think perhaps another goal would have been really what they perhaps deserve, and perhaps what the fans want. But in general, a very good performance. I thought Billy Bowden came back into the side and did a really good job. Greg Lee, after having a very quiet opening period, really started to make his presence felt down that left side. 1-0 at half-time. It was 1-0 at half-time against Blackpool, but I think you get the feeling United won't get caught on their heels as they were a week ago.
A little bit depends on how much Wickham can throw at them in the second half. Wickham do score. I think, is it 9 straight games they've got a goal in? So you feel that Oxford might need another, so that's definitely going to be clear. But Wickham's goal-scoring prowess is a concern. Another concern is the volatile nature of the referee, because I worry that the fans, maybe the players, are going to get too caught up in how erratic he is.
Yeah, as you know, I hate criticising the referee. That was a dreadful decision when the ball was played through to Harris and he went back with the free kick. If Harris would have scored or not really doesn't matter, does it? It was the decision, and there have been some strange old decisions, but yeah, and it hasn't kicked off in any way. We know we call it the derby in that way.
You do, the rest of us don't, because we know that we'll get slaughtered for it.
Yeah. Yes. But Wycombe have got more. I thought Wycombe started so strongly, 3 corners. And they closed United down in midfield. They wouldn't let them play in any way at all. But United found the way to play. And, we are very lucky this season because we are seeing some glorious goals from them. So, again, a lovely 1-2 Finn Stevens and McGuane. And then McGuane ball. I thought he'd missed it. I thought he should have played the ball to Harrison coming in the near post. But he saw Rodriguez coming in behind him, virtually on the penalty spot. It was a wonderful pass. And Rodriguez, that's what United bought him for, scoring goals from midfield like he did.
And if you want to criticise McGuane this season, you might say that for all the easy on the eye stuff, he's not really weighed in with goals or assists. Well, that was an absolute nailed-on assist there, so you can tick that one off as well. Nick, for the moment, thank you. Portsmouth, who were 2 down, have equalised, of course they have, at Reading in the 9th minute of stoppage time. The only surprise is it's the 9th minute of the first half stoppage time, not the second half stoppage time, under former Wycombe and Oxford player John Messina. Half-time at the Kassam between his old clubs. Oxford United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0.
Your team, always live with our team.
Bedlam at the Kassam Stadium, and Oxford United dance with delight.
Bringing Oxford United fans together.
History to be made. Such a joyous season for Oxford United.
BBC Radio Oxford Sport, the official broadcast partner of Oxford United.
Castad then in the first half. Pretty peach of a goal from United.
Now Long and McGuane, United going right to left and back again, and McGuane to Bowden, back to McGuane, and they've got a ball out to the far side of Stevens, back to McGuane, 2 or 3 in the area, McGuane cuts it back, Rodriguez! 1-0! Ruben Rodriguez, just like last week, United passed the opposition to death before sliding the ball across the face of goal, and he arrived, Rodriguez, for his 2nd goal of the campaign.
So United in front, but City in trouble in the National League game against Barnet. Kieran Bushnell.
Yeah, they really are, Jerome's. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2, and City have been run ragged in this first half. It could have very easily been 3 or 4, to be honest, but for a couple of good saves from Marcin Brzozowski. Barnet took the lead midway through the half, a long ball on over the head of the leading goal scorer, Kabamba, and the ball fell to former Brackley man Callum Stead, who slotted home beneath Brzozowski. And then just 8 minutes later it was 2-0. A really good strike from Stead for his 2nd of the game. A good effort into the top corner. Brzozowski got his fingertips to it, but it arrowed into the top corner, and it could have been 3-0 in stoppage time, but for another decent save from Brzozowski, who pushed a deflected effort from Courtney Senior wide. But as it stands at the moment, City have it all to do. They trail 2-0 at half time.
To National League North, Brackley going well against South Shields. Tim Carroll.
Yes, but what a strange game this is. For the opening 28 minutes, South Shields completely dominated the game, with Brackley unable to get on the ball at all, and the visitors comfortable and in complete control. And then Brackley mounted a first attack of the game. Ricardo Calder put in a cross. Alfie Bates' header wasn't cleared, and Danny Newton found the net to give Brackley a really unlikely lead. That transformed the game, and Brackley suddenly were in the ascendancy. Certainly could have added more. Dan Turner went close. As they say, goals change games. That's the story here. Brackley leads South Shields at half-time by 1-0.
Let's hear about Southport against Banbury United. Keeping an eye on this one, Carla Buckingham.
It's Southport 0, Banbury United 0. End-to-end stuff in the game with nothing really separating either side. Jack Harding in the 19th minute making a stunning save to keep Banbury in the game. And going on the ascendancy, Odebayi in the 34th minute having a header hit both posts but bounce the wrong side and keeping it 0-0. Southport also had their chances, and in the final few moments of the first half, Watson missed from 6 yards out. It could be anyone's game. It's Southport 0, Banbury United 0.
Southern Premier South, Didcot 0, Sholing 0, Division 1 Central. Kidlington a goal up at Hadley. A penalty from Felipe Barcelos with the goal. 0-0 Kempston Rovers against Tame United, and 1-1 between Northley and Welling Garden City. Let's go to the Premier League and update you on what's happening in those matches. Earlier on, Chelsea 0, Brentford 2. Arsenal leading Sheffield United by an Eddie Nketiah goal to 0 at half-time. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1 in a big match towards the nether regions of the Premier League, with Wolves against Newcastle to follow at 5:30. Championship results from earlier: Leeds 4, Huddersfield 1, Southampton 3, Birmingham 1. These are the half times: Blackburn 0, Swansea 1, Cardiff 1, Bristol City 0, Hull 0, Preston 0, Ipswich 1, Plymouth 1, Stoke 2 up at Middlesbrough, it's QPR 1, Leicester 1, it's Sunderland 2, Norwich City 1, and Watford 1, Millwall 1. Elsewhere in League One then, Barnsley 1, Fleetwood 2, second time in that game that Fleetwood have been ahead. Blackpool 0, Peterborough 1. Half-time, Bristol Rovers 2, Northampton 0, Burton 0, Leyton Orient 0, Cambridge 0, Carlisle 0, Bolton are 2 up at Charlton, Lincoln, who Oxford visit on Tuesday night, a goal up at Exeter. And that's a concern for me, because Wigan won at Exeter last week and then beat Oxford on the Tuesday night that followed. Listen, I'm a worrier. What can I say? Port Vale 1, Cheltenham 1, Reading 2, Portsmouth 2, Stevenage 2, Derby 1, Wigan 1, Shrewsbury 0, and Oxford United leading Wycombe by a goal to 0 here. League 2, Accrington 0, Colchester 0, Barrow 0, Salford 0, Doncaster Rovers 0, Grimsby 0, Forest Green 2, Crawley 1, Newport are 2-0 up at Gillingham, Crewe are a goal up at Harrogate, Mansfield 1, Walsall 0, MK at 1-0 up against Swindon, Morecambe 0, Wimbledon 0 at half-time, Notts County 0, Wrexham 0. It's Stockport 1, Tranmere 0, and Sutton United with a very early goal in the first half, leading Bradford City by a goal to 0. Not too far away from the resumption in our two commentaries then. On BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website and app, you're about to get the second half of Oxford City against Barnet. Can City come back from a big deficit at the break? And on 95.2 FM and on digital radio, you've got the second half of Oxford United against Wycombe, with the U's a goal up next.
Every kick, tackle and goal.
Back with a bang, Oxford United. What a ball in! What a finish! Oxford get what they deserve.
All the action is just moments away.
The Oxford United fans are loving every minute of it.
And we are underway.
BBC Radio Oxford Sport, the official broadcast partner of Oxford United.
Whether your radio's balancing precariously on a pile of paper, your headphones are hiding somewhere in your handbag,
your speakers are spattered with spaghetti sauce,
or the left-hand one doesn't work, but wait, that's got it. Whenever you listen and wherever your radio is,
As long as it works.
we're always here for you with your favourite music.
the latest news from Oxfordshire and loads more on 95.2 FM,
Digital radio
and the BBC Sounds app.
BBC Radio Oxford.
Welcome back to the Raw Charging Stadium. Oxford City have got it all to do in the second half. They trail Barnet by 2-0 after a really impressive first half from the visitors from North London. City have made a substitution at half-time with Ollie Sanderson coming on for Rafferty Pedder. Joining me again, as always, is Andy Gate, who'll take you through the first half of the second half. And Andy, that first half was real eye-opener for City. They've got it all to do in the second half.
Yeah, that's the nice way of putting it, isn't it? I think Barnet have been completely on top. They're very well deserving of their lead. I think they're scoreline flatter City, if I'm honest, but they were out very early, weren't they? And they will be looking for an instant reply in this game as Andre Burley straight away goes down the right-hand side. Claudio Afosu crossed into the Barnet box this time. I don't think we've seen one of them so far in the game. Eventually cleared away, but then Senior hooks it away. Only as far as Humphrey Ewers. Marauds forward, Humphrey Ewers, looking for an angle for a shot or a pass, but there is none, and eventually he runs into the blockade of orange shirts. And Ollie Sanderson has entered the fray, perhaps with Barnet's high line and City's counter-attacking presence. That will be the option that Ross Jenkins has gone for, a little bit of pace beyond the back line. Look with Claudio Afosu. Here's Josh Parker now, cuts in for McEachran, shoots towards goal, blocked only as far as Sanderson, bounces around in the area, somehow cleared off the line. What a sensational block off the line by Harry Pritchard, and City have 3 bites at the cherry but cannot find a way past Laurie Walker. and eventually it's blocked 3 times, most sensationally by Harry Pritchard on the line, and it bounces over to Rennie Smith, that can only hook the rebounded effort way over the crossbar. And that is an instant response from City after this second half, into this second half. But how have they not scored there?
Goodness me, 3 opportunities in the space of 5 seconds. Really good defending, and Rennie Smith then firing it over the bar. But do you get the feeling that it might not be City's day? Because I don't know how they haven't scored there, Andy. I really don't, because there were 3 gilt-edged chances. The keeper was nowhere, and yeah, I just don't know how they haven't managed to get the ball in the net there.
Yeah, all 3 shots from point-blank range, really, all blocked, saved. I think one of them was saved by Laurie Walker. There's someone down for Barnet. I can't quite see the number. Apologies, Barnet fans. I can't see who that is. I was pretty sure it was Zach Brunt, but I'm not quite sure. It might be Finlay Potter who's down receiving treatment.
I think it is Potter. But it was Potter that had the last block, Andy.
But it was a brilliant save by Walker, and it came out to McEachran, and it was really well blocked by Harry Pritchard. Fantastic block.
Just to confirm, it was Potter there being getting treatment. He also blocked one of them as well, and I think he got a real whack in the face as well. So he's getting a good round of applause from the Barnet fans.
I was just say that round of applause is for him as he gets up, and there's Sanderson's ahead of Claudio Fosu, but his eyes are glued to the ball there, Claudio Fosu, and he can't see that the City striker was making the run behind the back line. City have started brightly in this second half, and they have started brightly. They are trying to find a way back in. That's a great ball from Andre Burley, but there's too much power on it for Ollie Sanderson, and it rolls into the hands of Laurie Walker. Barnet, despite being 2-0 up, are struggling here in these early stages. Here's Sanderson, edge of the area, and that's a shot which is really well blocked again by Jerome Akimo. Standard block that time, but City again coming close.
This is a really encouraging start, isn't it, Andy? For all the pressure from Barnet in the first half, it's been all Oxford City in these opening exchanges in the second half, and yeah, hopefully they can make that count, because they need to pretty quickly.
Definitely. Now here comes Afusu, who has probably touched the ball more than the entirety of the first half in this second half. They're coming forward, but Barnet are standing strong this time. City did the same until Stead's 2 goals have completely derailed them, but before them 2 goals, they perhaps Stead could have had a hat-trick, maybe even more. Plus Kabamba and the rest of the Barnet players. The ball bounces around the halfway line. Eventually City find another hoop shirt and to retain possession. They'll come forward again with Burley into McEachran. Stands up well. Afosu back to McEachran, who's inside his own half here, but will wiggle away from his man. Eventually Barnet win the ball back. McEachran hooks down Marvin Armstrong. Free kick right on the halfway line for Barnet. Difficult for McEachran there. He never really had the opportunity to find a hoop shirt. Wherever he kind of wangled his way into whatever space, whatever pocket of space, he couldn't find a hoop shirt. There was about 3 Barnet shirts following him all the way. Now here comes Hartigan. Chance for a shot here from Hartigan. He does shoot. Brzezinski, brilliant parry away, but it drops right into the feet of Callum Stead, who we were saying just minutes before probably should have had a hat-trick. He definitely should have there. Sends another shot wide of the mark. In fact, Stead's just signalling something to Harry Pritchard there. Perhaps he wants the ball a little bit quicker than he did. City again will go back to living life on the edge as Barnet have another corner. Now their fans will get behind the team again for the first time in this second half. Corner again, which has caused City a lot of problems. back post, headed away, Afosu into the air, Sanderson will go up with Armstrong for it, and it's hooked away by a City body and out, but all the way back to Akimo. Walker, who's not had too much to do, but when he has been called into action, he's made saves. But here come Barnet again, Armstrong, and he's in here, Armstrong past Marcin Brzozowski, and eventually Andre Burley saw that unfolding and got back to clear it off the line. Barnet again coming forward from Kambamba, can't clear their lines again, City, backs against the wall, cross into the box, headed away by Andre Burley again. Good defending from the St Kitts and Nevis international there to deny Barnet a third, but they're not over yet. Pritchard, good ball into the box, and in fact I think that was a cross, I'm pretty sure it was anyway, from Harry Pritchard, but it just spiralled over Brzozowski's crossbar. He's more than happy to see that go over the bar, but again City living life on the edge, and Andre Burley that time is the man to spare City from going 3-0 down here, which would almost certainly, if it isn't already, be curtains in this game. Wow.
Well, we often say, don't we, Andy, how important, if it's a 2-0 scoreline, how important the third goal will be. We've nearly seen City pull one back, and then Andre Burley clearing that one off the line. So it's been a brighter start in the second half for City, but they do need to get this goal back pretty quickly if they want to try and get back into this one.
It definitely has been, but City are working their way into the Barnet half here now with Rennie Smith. Plays the ball across the halfway line to Claudio Afosu. He's well marshalled by Harry Pritchard, wasn't allowed to turn and run at his man. When Afosu is allowed to do that, he'll cause problems. Carroll, beautifully clipped ball over the top of the Barnet back line, but Ollie Sanderson adjudged to have latched onto that ball from an offside position, and it will be a free kick to Barnet. They've not had it all their own way in this second half, Barnet, but the first half was a rather different story. Could be coming to you here quite easily at the Royal Charging Stadium with Barnet 4 or 5-0 up. 4 or 5-0 up. Luckily for City it isn't though, as Kambamba backs into Canis Carroll and comes off the better of the two. Carroll goes down, some muted appeals for a foul, not given. Perhaps, I think, would have been soft. Good strength from Kambamba. Hartigan plays it back into Pritchard now. Stead back towards goal, will go head to head with Andre Burley, but this time it's Andre Burley's opportunity to show his strength and manages to get the better of Stead. Burley, ball forward to McEachran, but he's got his back towards goal and can only come back and recycle possession to Mitchell Roberts, who is now playing as a makeshift centre half for City. It looks like they've gone to a back four, and it's Roberts and Canis Carroll, the two centre halves. Burley playing as that makeshift right back again. Here's Afosu, runs into the final third, looking for an option, finds Burley. Rennie Smith, he's got some options ahead of him, but they're all tightly marked by Barnet shirts, but City continue to move the ball. Canis Carroll bring it across the halfway line, but again he is pushed all the way by Zach Brunt and has no option but to go back to Marcin Brzozowski. But City not rushing with the ball here until I say they weren't, and Latrell Humphrey, who has sent a, I think, what's the word for that? Guessing pass, really, a speculative pass over the hopeful, speculative, whatever you want to make of it. It was into a good area, but almost hopeful it was going to find a blue shirt rather than it definitely was. But City will come forward again through Tafari Moore on the left-hand side. Has Mitchell Roberts, who's continued his run ahead of him. He'll use Roberts, but it's a really good challenge from Courtney Senior from Barnet to dispossess Moore before he could send a cross into the box. But again, City will come forward and they'll be buoyed by this little spell of possession. They have started the second half the better of the two teams, if we're completely honest. Only 10 minutes gone here, 55 minutes in this game. It's Oxford City 0, Barnet 2, but that is a big mistake. And Barnet, it's 2-on-1 here, and Marvin Armstrong on the edge of the area fluffs his lines and really should have done better with that. And City were playing some neat stuff. They gave the ball away cheaply, and Marvin Armstrong was allowed to just push forward and send a shot towards goal. Meanwhile, here's Afosu, and his pass is loose, and Ollie Sanderson will chase and do his best to try and win the ball off Akimo, and in fact wins a throw-in deep into the Barnet half, all the way back to Andre Burley now. City starting to play some better stuff. They've stood up to the challenge a lot better than they did in the first half, which probably didn't take a lot, but they have anyway. McEachran wants a foul off the ball, but Afosu will come forward, darts for the byline, sends across towards goal, slams the cross against Harry Pritchard. Pritchard thinks it's come off Afosu, but Afosu didn't think so, and it's going to be a corner to City. They really need to make the most of these chances. Corner here. Barnet have left one man forward in Brunt. Humphrey Ewers. Flashed cross across the goal. Carroll has time to take the ball down, sends a cross into goal, and it's another brilliant save from Laurie Walker to deny Josh Parker. How has he saved that? The ball was, Canis Carroll was allowed to bring down Latrell Humphrey Ewers' corner. Had loads of time. All he needed to do was send a cross back into the box, which he did. It was inch perfect for Josh Parker, and the former Oxford City keeper gets two hands to it and stops Parker from finding the net. When you looks out, it is definitely out.
Andy, I thought the ball was almost behind Walker there, wasn't it? Almost as if he clawed it back from behind him. And I just thought again, I thought that was in from Parker, and really good save from the former Oxford City goalkeeper, Walker.
Indeed, but Barnet are looking to kill the game off once and for all now. Cross into the box, looking for Kabamba, but it goes over his head. And out for a City goal kick. City, if they do get a goal, perhaps the narrative of the game might change. They have stepped up to the task a lot more in this second half.
Absolutely, yeah, a goal's crucial, but we've said it twice now, how City haven't found the back of the net, but Laurie Walker there, it reminded me almost of a Ben Stokes in cricket a couple of years ago, took a catch when it was behind him, and the ball looked like it was in the net, and for some... How he's done it, he's managed to claw it from behind him. I think even Parker thought it was in, to be honest. He looked like he was about to be wheeling away to celebrate the goal.
Absolutely, just had his head in his hands after that, Josh Parker. Fantastic save, but he's kept Barnet's 2-goal lead. Ball into the box, looking for Kabamba, meets the head of Nicky Kabamba, but that header drifts over the bar. Again, City being caused a lot of problems by Barnet's crosses into the box.
You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sport on BBC Sounds. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2 here in the National League. In League 1, Oxford United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Wycombe have just pulled level. 60 minutes on the clock in that one at the Castle. If you want that one, it's 95.2 FM on digital or on Freeview channel 722. Here at the Royal Charging Stadium, City looking to get back into the game, and they've had a bright start to the second half. And
they have indeed. And here's Josh Parker on the left, nutmegs Senior, but Senior, I think it's Senior, gets his body in front of the ball and keeps Parker at bay. Again, Barnet defending really well. Bajovsky straight out to his feet to find Mitchell Roberts. Roberts down the line to find Tafari Moore, who's playing a lot further up the field in this second half, as is Andre Burley. Roberts brings the ball forward across the halfway line. Smith, ball ahead of him, looking for Ollie Sanderson, but again, Sanderson's making those dangerous runs behind the Barnet back line. City are spotting it and trying to send the ball into his feet, but all the passes to Sanderson just seem to have a little bit too much power on them, and they run through to the Barnet men. They'll come forward here again, Barnet, with Potter. Ball bypasses the City midfield almost to find Brunt. Over onto that right wing with Senior. Back to Brunt. Good opportunity for Barnet here to carve out a chance. Darts for the byline, Senior, but he's challenged all the way by Tafari Moore, who the linesman says is fouled, and instead of doing what you think they would do, City, and hoofing the ball up the field, they've taken it quickly, and City will try and play their way out. Here's Humphrey Ewers just on the edge of his own box here. Roberts, there's the long ball forward, chested down and well held up from Josh Parker. McEachran's made the run ahead of him, but It's a risky ball, and it's an even better ball from Josh Parker to find Canis Carroll. Passes it across the halfway line to Afosu, who'll run towards the byline again. He's marshalled well by Pritchard again, and that is really good defending from Harry Pritchard, who does exactly that, marshals him all the way and manages to win his side a goal kick. And meanwhile, Dean Brennan is going to make his first change of the game, and it's going to be Marvin Armstrong who's going to go off, and Dale Gorman is going to replace him. And in fact, I think there's going to be a double change here for Barnet. The next player coming on, I can't quite see the number. I think it's Sam Barrett or Sam Beard. It's going to be... It's definitely going to be Courtney Senior coming on. And Sam Barrett's going to come on. And that seems to have livened the Barnet fans up as we've gone. Clock's ticked across the hour mark, sorry. And it's first touch for Barrett, but his touch is heavy and bounces into the hands of Marcin Brozovsky. It's been a really difficult game for City. Barnet have made it difficult for them. And again, just like Wealdstone, it seems like it's a little bit of a case of too little, too late for City, who have responded quite well, but not well enough. And Barnet will be very happy, as at the moment Chesterfield are drawing in the National League, and that means they'll go joint top of the table if there is such a thing. But here comes Ollie Sanderson, shoulder to shoulder with Akimo. It's another fantastic save from Laurie Walker. He is really haunting his former side with a string of impressive saves, this time denying Ollie Sanderson, who burst through the back line again, sent a right-footed effort towards goal, but it's a strong palm that's matched to it by Laurie Walker, and it goes behind for a City corner kick, which Latrell Humphrey-Ewers will take. Really impressive game from Laurie Walker. When he has been called into action, he has done really well for the visitors. Humphrey-Ewers, floated ball into the area this time, met by Carroll, cleared but only up into the air. Again Carroll will jostle for it, but Barnet hook it away to safety. City starting to perhaps sense that if they can get the next goal, they might just have the slightest of chances of nicking a draw. This next goal is going to be absolutely huge. Barnet seeing the game out professionally. They're living life on the edge a little bit, but they still look dangerous coming forward, and they'll come forward again through Stead, who's looking for his hat-trick. Carroll goes down, goal kick.
Yeah, you get the fear, don't you? If City can pinch a goal here, there's been a little bit of nervous defending. It's been Laurie Walker that's been in inspired form to keeping it 2-0. So if City can pinch a goal in the next 10 minutes or so, will that lead to a few nerves for Barnet? Because City have showed in the second half that they're not infallible, and City, if they can get a goal back, you just never know where this game may go.
You do never know, but the one thing about Barnet, they are a little bit like Oxford City with the late show. City we've referred to a lot of times as a second half team. Barnet, they left it until the 97th minute when Gary Hooper came off the bench to salvage them a point against Solihull Moors the other week. It's not over until it's over, even if City did somehow claw their way back into this game. But they have a lot of work to do.
What a name to have on the bench as well, isn't it, Andy? Gary Hooper, 253 career goals, scored 63 times for Celtic in his 95 appearances. An amazing name to have as a substitute, as somebody to bring on if they need to late on.
Yeah, well, he has had Champions League experience with Celtic. And the only other player that's had Champions League experience, which is remarkably in the National League, 2 players have had Champions League experience in this match. How often will you see that? Josh Parker, the other one, played for Red Star Belgrade and played in their Champions League qualifier. Perhaps not as much of a regular as Gary Hooper was for Celtic and Scunthorpe and Sheffield Wednesday. But here comes City through Tafari Moore. Chance here with options on the edge of the area. Tafari Moore cuts inside, sends a shot towards goal, but his drilled effort is low and straight at goalkeeper Laurie Walker. That time it was a standard save from Walker. Had to make it still, but it was a little bit more easier for the goalkeeper in the Barnet net.
Yeah, that one wasn't really going to test Walker, the form that he's been in this afternoon. That was regulation that time, but still positive signs though. City getting shots in on goal, and you'd like to think that one of these shots in on goal is going to lead to something. Surely Walker can't continue to make the saves as the rain pours down now at the Royal Charging Stadium.
You can probably hear it on the commentary, the rain thundering down really on the tin roof here of the main stand. You can really hear it, never mind see it, as the ball goes over the back line. Afosu's timed his run well, has he? No, the linesman puts his flag up. They put their flag up a lot later than probably us commentators would have liked. I thought he was offside, I had the inkling, but then he kept his flag down. I thought perhaps Afosu's timed his run. Then as soon as he touched the ball, the flag went up. Meanwhile, here come Barnet. Again, how many times have I said that in this game? Gorman, the substitute. Free kick. Parker's judged to have fouled his man inside the area, and that's probably one of those sloppy fouls that you don't want to give away, where the player wasn't really going anywhere for Oxford City. And if it wasn't bad enough, the barrage of Barnet attacks that City have had to deal with, or not deal with it, however you see this game, they've got to deal with a barrage of rain now as it thunders down. Free kick to Barnet. Everyone up from the backboard. The taker and two others. Cross into the box. Doesn't beat the first man in Humphrey Ewers. Pritchard heads it back into the danger area. Taken down by Stead. Will drag the ball out wide, but Josh Parker does really well to get his body in front of Stead and win the ball back. But Stead does the exact same. Cross into the box. Looking for the substitute, Sam Barrett. But Latrell Humphrey Ewers stabs the ball away before he can take the ball down, Barrett, and stab a shot towards goal himself. Barnet coming forward again now with Pritchard over to the right hand side, taken down well by Barrett, comes forward looking for an option, but as Winter as the only one. Barnet taking their time now. Barrett on this right hand side. Again, Barnet playing well, keeping the ball until Humphrey Ewers nicks in ahead of his man and gets the ball as we approach the halfway point of this second half. City need a goal and quick, and I will pass you over to co-commentator Kieran to take you through to full time.
Thanks, Andy. BBC Radio Oxford Sport on BBC Sounds. Oxford United 1, Wycombe 1 in League 1 at the Castle. If you're looking for that, 95.2 FM, Freeview channel 722, or on digital. City here trailing by 2-0, but a brighter second half, but for the heroics of former City keeper Laurie Walker. City might have got some inroads into this game. Rennie Smith pulls the shorts of Stead, and the referee spots it, trying to play the advantage. He's going to get a yellow card here, Rennie Smith. I think that's fair dues, because he was trying to pull, you know what, Stead back.
That is absolutely right, and I was just thinking to myself then, Kieran, when's the referee done and made a decision in this game that I've disagreed with? It's been probably a really easy game to referee. There's not been too much handbags or anything like that, but he's got every decision right. I mean, you can't complain about that. Rennie Smith was clearly tugging at the Barnet player short there. I didn't think he'd spotted it, and then suddenly the player gets caught back. Good referee.
Really good, and Barnet into the penalty area and cleared away. In fact, really good defending actually from Andre Burley, because he's played it against the Barnet man and he's won inside a goal kick. I thought it was going to go out for a corner, but good defending. City trail by 2-0. 21 minutes left plus stoppage time here at the Royal Charging Stadium as the rain continues to pour down. The floodlights are starting to take effect here. The last day of British summertime, of course. This time in 2 weeks it'll be totally dark because the clocks go back this evening. An extra hour in bed, which will be good for some of us old timers, as City looking to try and pull themselves back into this game. And it has been a more positive, bright second half for City, but they just, when they've got past the back line, they found Laurie Walker in absolutely inspired form.
I'm not sure, just looking at Dean Brennan, he goes racing out of his technical area. He's clearly unhappy with a foul there. It's not been given.
Now Callum Stead on a hat-trick, bursting his way into the penalty area. Good defending there from Canis Carroll. Stead was only having an eye for goal there, and Canis Carroll stood tall and stood his ground and managed to deny Stead a shot on goal. But it's with Stead again in the penalty area. He lays the ball across to Barrett and cleared away, but Barnet back in possession with Anthony Hartigan. Out to the right-hand side. Ball into the penalty area again, looking for Stead and finds Stead, but Burley stands tall and gets a bit of the ball, but now it's a chance for another chance, and it's going to be a third goal. No, it's not, it's offside. So the ball was in the net. Dale Gorman laid the ball into the path of Nicky Kabamba, but the linesman over the far side has given an offside, and it remains 2-0. Good save actually from Brzozowski in the first instance, but now City on the attack, and now there's a chance for them perhaps to build. And Ofosu into the penalty area on this right side. He's got a couple of options there, and another good save, another save from the goalkeeper Ollie Sanderson. A snapshot from Ofosu's cross from the right hand side, and that man Laurie Walker has denied City again.
When you look, it's not in, it is not in. It was a good shot towards goal from Rennie Smith. City have done a lot better in this second half, but whenever they've got a shot on goal, Laurie Walker's been there with some stunning stops. I mean, what a save that was.
Corner to City, a deep one, but it's gone over the head of everybody, and now Barnet coming away with the ball with Zach Brunt. Brunt opts to go crossfield towards Stead, but Mitchell Roberts does well and shows his strength and gets the better of Stead this time and lays the ball forward to Parker. Parker goes down under a challenge, nothing doing, but he's gone out for a throw on the far side. And yep, sorry, it was Rennie Smith that had that snapshot from the cross, and another really good save from Laurie Walker. And it's not very often you'd say that a side are 2-0 up, and Laurie Walker's putting in almost a man of the match performance now, isn't he?
Yeah, almost. I think, to be fair, I think Callum Stead will have something to say about that, but City are to try and get back into this game, then they're going to have to find a way past him.
They are indeed, and Andre Burley dinks the ball in towards McEachran. McEachran does really well to get the ball past Anthony Hartigan, but this time Barnet clear. And
you know what, City in this second half have been exceptional. They've been a little bit leaky at the back and allowed a little bit too much time for Barnet's chances, but going forward they've really done well. Where is this? Where was this in the first half exactly? And I tell you what, if they play like this from the get-go in other games, they'll have a lot of luck.
Something to perhaps for Ross Jenkins to be cheerful about here. He will be pleased with this second half showing. City forcing their 5th corner of the game. Still trailed by 2-0, but the trail hunt for Ewers goes over to the far side to take this corner. It's going to be an in-swinging corner. Canis Carroll, as per usual, comes up from the back. Andre Burley's up there as well, as is, of course, Josh Parker, looking for Carroll. Headed up into the air by Barnet and cleared up towards the centre circle. And City, I was going to say City back in possession, but it bounced awkwardly there for Mitchell Roberts, and it's gone out of play for a throw into Barnet. And Tafari Moore does pretty well just to stop Barnet from launching a pretty quick counter-attack. And we're going to have Barnet's 3rd substitution, and it's going to be their leading goal scorer, Nicky Kabamba's going off.
It's going to be Gary Hooper.
And it will be Gary Hooper coming on. We alluded to the fact that that's quite a substitute, that. Vastly experienced Gary Hooper. 600 professional appearances, 253 goals. A goal every 3 games, not there or thereabouts, is a pretty good return over a long career. And on he'll come for Kabamba, who's looked lively today, but City have managed to keep him quiet at least. But Callum Stead with a double has given Barnet this 2-0 lead, and the Barnet fans away to my right are in really good voice as we head into the last 15 of the 90. And ball in towards the penalty area, but cleared away, up only as far though as Finley Potter, and Potter's through ball handled quite comfortably by Canis Carroll, who opts to clear the ball quickly over the halfway line, looking for Sanderson and finds him. Sanderson, a nice ball into Rennie Smith. Back into Sanderson, is it? But slightly overhit, and it's going to be shepherded out of play for a goal kick. A really good interchange of passes between Smith and Sanderson, but the second ball back towards Sanderson was just slightly overhit, and it allowed Barnet just to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. We're going to see a double change now for City.
Yeah, it's going to be Lewis Micho and Pierre Foncu that are going to come on, and it's going to be for, I think he's got the number wrong, 22.
Yeah.
It's going to be Tafari Moore for Pierre Foncu, and it's going to be Claudio Afosu for Lewis Micho.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Afoso again today, but his day is done. And Foncu and Micho on for this last 15 minutes. Can City get back into this game? The positives, I say, in this second half is they've more than matched their high-flying opponents, and they've looked much better after the break. But they do still trail by 2-0. Oxford United still level at 1-1 against Wycombe Wanderers. In the National League, National League North, Banbury United still level 0-0 at Southport. Brackley still leading South Shields by 1-0. Free kick given away here though by
Lewis
Micho. My eyesight's not great over that far side. When the dusk starts to settle, Lewis Micho giving away a free kick. It's a midway or just slightly behind midway inside the City half, and this is a chance for Barnet to get their numbers into the box. Callum Stead just lurking on the edge of the penalty area on a hat-trick, of course, the ex-Brackley man. He may well be the target here, but the ball played into the box. Back out to the right touchline, and a long cross over the head of everybody, out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick to Oxford City, and they trail by 2-0 with 13 minutes remaining in this one in the National League.
I'll tell you, someone who has impressed me today, Kieran, Phil Barnett. We've spoken about Kabamba before the game. We've spoken about the goalkeeper, Laurie Walker, who's had a sensational game, and Stead as well. Harry Pritchard, really good performance for him today. Not the most glamorous of performances in the second half, just doing the gritty stuff, getting back, defending well. Hasn't given Afosu an inch. He came off quite frustrated there, Afosu. He's just not had the run of the mill, and that's partly due to Pritchard's really good performance today.
Yeah, that block on the line was absolutely key. At that point as well, 5 minutes into the second half, that block could be the key to actually Barnet running out comfortable winners in this game.
Yeah, they've been good going forward, Barnet. Perhaps they should have had a few more goals in the first half especially, but defensively they've been good as well. They've been bailed out a few times by Walker in this second half, but Pritchard has been really impressive. There's a couple of players you could give man of the match to from their perspective, and Pritchard will most likely be up there with them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Former Maidenhead man and Eastleigh man, not really put a foot wrong for Barnet today, who've been really impressive, particularly in the first half. Barnet, I wouldn't say they're resting on their 2-0 lead, but City have forced them back a bit in the second period. But anybody listening from North London that hasn't made the trip, and thank you if you are listening, Barnet certainly looking every bit aside, chasing automatic promotion, as there's a chance here for Zach Brunt to run at goal. Block there from Canis Carroll. Now City back in possession with Parker, the skipper in Reece Fleet's absence. Parker surges over the halfway line. Parker still on the ball. He just lost his possession slightly, just a bit of a bad touch, and he just lost the ball, ran away from him there, but really surging run from Parker, and it's still with City with McEachran, and McEachran looking for Burley in the penalty area, who's playing in a more advanced position in this second half, but Barnet coming away with it again, and really good ball there, finding the substitute Gary Hooper out to the left side to Callum Stead, looking for his hat-trick, of course. He's got a chance there to run into the box, but McEachran defends back there. Really good blocking tackle from McEachran to stop Stead in his tracks. McEachran, normally obviously renowned for being a playmaking, attacking midfielder, but he had the defending to do there, and stood his ground well to prevent Stead from getting a shot in on goal.
I'm going to say it again, the referee's been really good.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
I think there was a few appeals that Oxford City should have had a foul, and I don't think they were, and he spotted that on Ollie Anderson. I don't think any team. Honestly, I've been really, really impressed with him, and I think it's important to say, because referees, how often do they get that? I'm just waiting for these last 10 minutes for him to have an absolute stinker.
Commentator's curse will definitely come in.
Give a Stonewall penalty the other way, or something like that. Surely goes wrong.
South Shields are pulled level at Brackley in National League North. Brackley 1, South Shields 1. Banbury still level 0-0 at Southport under new ownership today. Some news that we've had a couple of times with City this year, where a side have come under new ownership and then City have fallen on the very same day. Southport will be buoyed up by the fact that it looks like their future's been secured. City, can they get back into this one? We've got about 9 minutes to go, plus a fair amount of stoppage time, probably 3 or 4 minutes minimum, I would say. But although City have been good in the second half, they haven't managed to find a way past Laurie Walker, who is dressed all in green today, the Oxford City training kit green, I would say. Josh Parker looking for an option, but he hasn't got one ahead of him, so he has to go back to Humphrey Ewers, and Humphrey Ewers also has to go back to Micho. Micho plays a crossfield pass to Canis Carroll, and Canis Carroll is going to be forced all the way back by Callum Stead, and from a position where Josh Parker was looking for an option in front of him, the ball's had to go all the way back through to the goalkeeper Marcin Brzozowski, and that's really good defending from the visitors.
City allowed to pass the ball around but pushed all the way back. Good defending, and Barnet just happy to sit deep, 2 banks, and just soak up all the pressure they can, because they're 2-0 up in this game. They've got 8 minutes to go to see it out. City need to find a way to pick that lock.
Eastleigh have pulled one back at Maidenhead. Maidenhead 2, Eastleigh 1. Fylde still leading Gateshead by 2 goals to nil in the northeast. That's a bad result for City as well. Bromley have taken the lead at Woking. Chesterfield, though, have now gone 2-1 ahead at Kidderminster, so if the results stay as they are, it'll be as you were at the top, but City will be hitting 24th, rock bottom, if the scores say as we are at the moment. They need to get a goal quickly if they want to have any chance of getting a point out of this game, but it hasn't really looked likely, but there is still time. Where there's time, there's hope. Pierre Foncu on the ball. He's got Andre Burley to his right, but the ball's just skidded past Burley. I guess the heavy rain shower that we had has just made this pitch skid on a little bit, and that was a pass from Foncu that he was trying to pick Burley out on the right hand side, but it just skidded on past Burley, and it's gone out of play for a Barnet throw.
Yeah, I said before the game that Oxford City's season won't be judged by performances against these sorts of teams, but the performance in the second half has given them a lot more. I thought that ball was about to bounce instead, but it's given them a lot more hope.
At the Kassam Stadium, it's bad news. Wycombe Wanderers have taken the lead. Another penalty. Oxford United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Liam Manning, the manager, has been sent off in that one as well, no doubt for remonstrating for the second penalty. Banbury United, though, they've gone in front at Southport. Ken Charles, Banbury 1 up at Southport in National League North. Brackley and South Shields still at 1 apiece, as City come forward again, looking to try and get themselves a little foothold into the game. McEachran into the penalty area, tries to find Burley, and does. Burley slams across all the way across goal. He's overhit that. It's gone over everybody's head and out of play on the far side. I don't quite know what Burley was thinking there, because he really drilled that cross, but it was too high for anybody, and it's gone over everybody's head, out for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, did well to get to the byline and stab a cross away at goal, but he got the cross completely wrong. I think he just tried to get it a little bit lower. Maybe it was one of them, he tried to do one of those crosses that are drilled across the box and hope it just cannons back off somebody and then eventually would drop to someone or maybe deflect in, but got it completely wrong. Went high, and no one's going to get their head to that.
Absolutely. 5 minutes left here then at the Royal Charging Stadium still. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2. Both goals in the first half. Both goals coming from former Brackley man Callum Stead, who will be looking for a hat-trick. And Stead just advances in towards the penalty area, but cleared away. Picked up by the substitute Gorman. Gorman finds Hartigan, and then Hartigan in turn finds Finley Potter, who flips the ball out to the left-hand side, back into Hartigan again. Hartigan finds Stead, but this time City forcing Barnet back, and the ball in the centre circle. Hartigan will pick that one up and then just steps over the ball and receives the ball back from Potter, and now Barnet into the edge of the penalty area themselves. And Barnet just playing a little bit of keep ball in and around the City box, but this time it's cleared over the halfway line, and referee there doesn't give anything. For it appeared that Ollie Sanderson was pulled down, but commentators curse Andy. Referee didn't give it, but to be fair, he was in a good position, and actually Ollie Sanderson didn't make too much of that, so probably a fair decision. But Sanderson straight back up on his feet as Barnet come over the halfway line again with Zach Brunt. Brunt lays the ball back because he hasn't got options moving forward. Callum Stead's just lurking on the edge of the penalty area as Barnet come forward again with the substitute Gorman. Back to Ben Winter. Winter out to Hartigan, and then Barrett just playing a little bit of keep ball themselves, Barnet at the moment. Barrett on this left touch line, just laying the ball back again to Hartigan, and Barnet just playing nice little triangles of passes. Potter cut out well by Fonku and cleared up over the halfway line, and time very quickly running out now for City to get anything from this game because they trail 2-0 and we're into the last 3 minutes of the game. And Barnet looking to mount another attack themselves with Hartigan, and out to the left to Potter, who took a real clonk in the second half, but looks like he's run off whatever the injury was. He had a bit of treatment off the back of that mad scramble, which saw the fantastic block from Harry Pritchard, then the brilliant save from Laurie Walker. And Barnet, their fans away to our right, a little bit quiet at the moment, but will have been pretty pleased with what they've seen today. Pritchard finds Potter, and City just getting numbers back at the moment. Ball into the penalty area towards Callum Stead, headed clear up into the air, and then McEachran does really well, shows a bit of strength there to win the ball. Pierre Fonku plays the ball back to Canis Carroll. Carroll looking for a run towards the halfway line, chips the ball over the halfway line for Sanderson, and Sanderson's through here. Sanderson's taking a good touch, he's into the penalty area. Ollie Sanderson plays a shot across goal, and it's flashed across the face of goal, and Sanderson probably could have done a little bit better there. The goalkeeper Walker was diving away to his right, but it's flashed across goal and missed the far post, and that was a good ball over the top from Carroll. Sanderson controlled the ball nicely, got himself into the penalty area. It was a tight angle, wasn't it, Andy, to finish, but you'd like to have seen him at least hit the target and force a save from Walker there.
Yeah, he's done well since he's come on, Ollie Sanderson, to be fair. He's done well to dart behind the high line that Barnet have had, but yeah, it was a difficult angle. But you just need to get that on target, even if it ends up in a tame effort that is easily saved for Walker. You just need to give him a question, and just flashed across goal there. Good chance, but Sanderson's good work, I think, is ultimately for nothing.
Throw into City midway inside the Barnet half the field as we head into the last minute of the 90. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2. Oxford United trail Wycombe by 2-1 at the Kassam Stadium. Liam Manning's been sent off in that one. Leahy with 2 penalties for the Buckinghamshire side. You can catch the last few moments of that game on 95.2, Freeview channel 722, or on digital. Here at the Royal Charging Stadium on BBC Sound, it's Oxford City 0, Barnet 2, as Fonku does battle with Pritchard, who's been really impressive in this game. I have to agree with Andy, he's had a fantastic game, and Pritchard again on the ball. Pritchard picks a pass to Beard out to the left-hand side to Callum Stead, who's got a bit of work to do here. He gets past Andre Burley really well there to Stead, but Burley then stands his ground really well, and just the ball just ran away from Stead there as he got into the penalty area. Good defending from Burley. And Andy, I guess if it is going to be a defeat, which it looks as though it will be, I guess just hold that thought a moment. We'll just see how Ollie Sanderson does here as he advances into the penalty area. Ball across, and that's going to go out for. I guess it's going to likely finish in another defeat, but Ross Jenkins will be really happy with his side's second half display here.
He will, and equally he'll be really, really angry with the first half display. To be fair, looking at the fixtures and looking at the teams, like I said a couple of times today, Oxford City will not base their survival chances on beating teams like Barnet, especially with the amount of players they've got out injured. It was mainly about the performance. In the first half, you're probably thinking, wow, they're getting kicked when they're getting down, Oxford City. But the second half performance has been really positive, and he'll take the positives from that going into the upcoming games. A break with the FA Cup coming up, a week rest, which will be massive for Oxford City. Hopefully a couple of the absentees today can return for the next match, which is here against Woking, which could make all the difference.
Yeah, you mentioned on Tuesday, Andy, that apart from being out of the cup and losing the possible finance from that, a bit of a blessing in disguise in a way to allow City just a couple of weeks just to catch their breath and try and get some of these niggling injuries back and try and get themselves back somewhere near full strength.
Yeah, exactly that. They need every person that's injured that comes back is going to be like a new signing, as City just keep searching for that goal to get them back into it.
Pierre Fonku on the right touch line and nicks the ball into Rennie Smith. Smith goes out to the right to Burley, who's hugging the right touch line. Burley plays the ball back to Rennie Smith, and Canis Carroll now carries the ball over the halfway line, chips the ball in towards Josh Parker. Walker comes and punches well. And now it's Barnet back in the attack again. There's numbers coming forward as Callum Stead, looking for his hat-trick, of course, is again just lurking on the edge of the penalty area, but it's with Hartigan at the moment. Hartigan plays a little 1-2 with substitute Gary Hooper, and the ball chipped over the top, and Brzozowski comes and punches reasonably well, but it's back in possession with Barnet again with substitute Gorman. Finley Potter, the young man who's had a pretty decent game, I have to say. Finley Potter, just 19 years old, on loan from Sheffield United. He had a real knock at the start of the second half, but shook that off, and he's been pretty assured. As we're into the fourth minute of time, and I think it was 5, Alan. I missed the ball. I think it was 5. And Oxford United still trail by 2-1. Now here's Callum Stead with a chance for his hat-trick. Really good save from Brzozowski. Callum Stead received the ball through there from the substitute Dale Gorman, and Brzozowski had to be on his toes there because that was angling into the bottom corner, and Brzozowski got a good hand to that, and it's gone out of play for a corner.
Yeah, great save. It's been a difficult debut for Marcin Brzozowski. Really chucked in at the deep end today. And he's made some good saves, to be fair to him. Perhaps he'll be thinking he should have done a little bit better with Stead second. Got a fingertip to it, but made a good save there.
Yeah, absolutely, that denied Stead his corner, but his hat-trick, but it is a corner. Swinging in again, looking for Stead, and headed up into the air by Josh Parker. A Barnet man goes down in the penalty area, but the referee, Farrell Hallam, blows the full-time whistle, and it's finished Oxford City 0, Barnet 2 here at the Roar Charging Stadium. And a disappointing defeat for sure. The Barnet supporters away to our right, obviously pretty jubilant with another 3 points. But Andy, after that first half, which really was one-sided and City were really under the cosh, a much better second half performance, and Ross Jenkins can take some positives from that, going into this enforced break that they've now got, and then go again when they entertain Woking here in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, the first things first, Barnet showed why they are chasing Chesterfield all the way, and probably will do all the way up until April, May, based on this performance. They were ruthless. First half, they were brilliant. They cut through City, they were dangerous, and they probably should have been 4 or 5-0 up if we're completely honest. However, they did the work in the first half, and although City had a positive reaction in the second, the job was done. They defended well in the second half, and it's a great 3 points for them. Well-earned clean sheet, thanks to some brilliant saves from Laurie Walker. But although City have all these injuries, they'll be buoyed that they did come back in the second half. There's just a little bit of a worry here, as there is a Barnet player down. He's head was gashed with lots of blood. He's down receiving treatment. But yeah, unlucky for Oxford City today. Better second half performance. They probably should have had a couple of goals if it wasn't for Walker. Barnet thoroughly deserved the 3 points though.
Yeah, they do. On the strength of that first half performance, you can see why Barnet are second in the table, just behind Chesterfield in the National League. Oxford United still playing in their game at home to Wycombe Wanderers. They trail by 2-1. 2 penalties for Wycombe, and Liam Manning, the Oxford United manager, has been sent off. That's on 95.2 if you want to catch the last few minutes of that one. 95.2 FM, Preview channel 722, or on digital. I'll just run through the scores that we have at the moment from the National League. Borehamwood 1, Southend 1, Dorking 2, Aldershot 1, Ebbsfleet 0, Dagenham 0, Gateshead 0, Fylde 2, Hartlepool 2, Rochdale 3, Kidderminster 1, Chesterfield 2, Maidenhead still leading Eastleigh by 3-2. Oldham pulled level against Altrincham 2-2. Solihull leading Wealdstone by 1-0, and Bromley 0, Woking 1. And the Barnet fans away to our right just giving their players a warm round of applause as the City players go over to the few remaining City supporters, and again giving them a warm round of applause as well. So it's finished here. Oxford City 0, Barnet 2, and Oxford City now have a week off next week, and then their next game is here at the Royal Charging Stadium against Woking on Saturday. Final score here though at the Royal Charging Stadium: Oxford City 0, Barnet 2.